for the U.S. Secret Service Electronic Crimes Task Force. And he can tell you more, but I'm pretty sure it's a secret. Mark has 28 years of security and forensic experience and has testified in over 2,000 cases. Mark is faculty for the Federal Judicial Center in Washington, D.C., the National Judicial College in Reno, Nevada, the University of Minnesota, and Mitchell-Hamlin Law School. Mark is a professor in the cybersecurity program at the St. Thomas School of Law in Minneapolis. Mark has provided training in digital evidence, computer forensics, and cybersecurity to the United States Supreme Court. He has also presented to the 8th and 11th Circuit Federal Judicial Conferences, as well as numerous state and federal judicial conferences across the United States. Mark has completed his post-grad studies in cybersecurity at the Harvard University and is certified as a Seed Computer Evidence Recovery Specialist by the Department of Homeland Security. Mark is a member of the Minnesota Lawyers Professional Responsibility Board and serves as chairman of its Opinions Committee. Please welcome Mark Manfred.
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me, and thank you for that introduction. It's all downhill from here. Okay, so as you heard, my name's Mark Lanterman. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Computer Forensic Services. We're based in Minneapolis. Our firm, we're the digital crime lab for 38 law enforcement agencies, including the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, Ramsey County, and Washington County. I've been very fortunate enough to have worked on some very interesting cases. I worked on the Bernie Madoff investigation, the Martha Stewart, if you remember Martha. Locally, we worked on the Tom Petters and Denny Hecker investigations. But the only case ever to impress my mother was the Paul McCartney divorce. So I finally have some street cred with my mom. You know, it took a while, and I'll tell you, it was a little weird having my mom call me every day. Did you meet Paul? Did you meet Paul? Can I get a picture? Yeah, no, Mom, you're creeping me out, and I'm going to tell Dad. So anyway, let me share my screen here. You know, coming into today's session, I wanted to put myself in your shoes. If I were you, what would I want to hear about? So today, we're going to talk about phishing. And phishing, these are those scam emails that wind up in your mailbox every single day, and hopefully you just delete them. You know, congratulations, you've just won a $50 Best Buy gift card to claim your prize. Click here. Or, you know, hey, you're now eligible for a vaccine. We've saved a spot in line for you to claim your reservation. Click here. So, these are scams. And the reason is, and the takeaway today is, hackers need our help. So hackers need to trick us into doing things for them, like clicking on links. Just a few weeks ago, I received an email from the BCA, our state police, and the email read, a registered sex offender has moved into your neighborhood. To see who it is and to see what steps you can take to protect your children, click here. Well, the BCA doesn't send out emails like that. So we're going to take a few minutes today and we're going to talk about phishing, because the fact is, if I were going to attack you, that's how I would do it. So, but before we get to phishing though, I just want to take a minute and share with you my all-time favorite photograph. I was really honored. I was asked to speak at one of the largest cybersecurity conferences in the country. We had about 3,500 people attending. And I show up and I make my way to the registration desk to get my name tag. And there's no one sitting there. So I have an unattended laptop at a cybersecurity conference. I thought I was being tested or something. I'm looking around for the hidden cameras. I thought, Alan Funk was going to jump out and say you're on candid camera. There's no one sitting there. So I look down and something catches my eye, and I think I have to get a picture of this. At one of the largest cybersecurity conferences in the country. Now, this slide became the opening slide of my keynote address to the 3,500 attendees. I've not been asked to return, but that's okay. The point is, though, and as I just mentioned, hackers need our help. And sometimes we give it to them without them even asking. So please be mindful of Post-it notes. These attacks are not going to go away. And just remember, hackers need our help. And they trick us into clicking and opening attachments. Now, this email happens to be my all-time favorite example of a phishing attack. And it's an email purportedly from Google. The subject line reads, "Someone has your password. Hi, so-and-so. Someone just used your password to try to sign into your Google account. It happened on Saturday. We here at Google, we are so techie, we even log the IP address. And we track the hackers back to the Ukraine. And we all know everyone in the Ukraine is a hacker. But it's okay because we here at Google, we stop these hackers from accessing your data, from accessing your company's data, perhaps even your client's data. It's okay. We stop them. But now you need to change your password immediately. Click here. Now, hopefully after today, none of you would ever fall for this. But the reason why this email happens to be my favorite example is because of the identity of the recipient. The recipient of this email was John Podesta. Now, you may remember John. John used to be Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. This is the email that resulted in the leaks of the Clinton campaign emails to WikiLeaks. This is the email that arguably influenced a US presidential election. And as though that wasn't bad enough, John's password was password. But he had a capital P, so I guess that made it a little more secure, uppercase, lowercase. So just remember, this is how 99% of all cyber attacks are being committed. And these attacks are not going away because they make criminals a lot of money. Just outside of Minneapolis, there is a very successful privately held pharmaceutical company, and their chief executive officer, their CEO, travels to China. He's speaking at an industry conference, at a pharmaceutical conference. And the company is proud of their CEO, so they announce it on their webpage. Our CEO is speaking in China. So now the world knows where he is and what he's doing. While the CEO is in China, the CEO writes an email to the company's chief financial officer, the CFO. Hey, I'm in China. Conference is going very well, very exciting times, learning a lot, meeting a lot of good people, well worth it. But CFO, I have come across an opportunity for us. I have identified a young company here in China that is doing research that is 5 years ahead of anything we have ever seen. Now, CFO, you're the only person at the company who I trust with this information. So tell no one, but we are going to acquire this company. Tell no one. CFO, I need you to immediately wire $52 million to this bank account in China. I will give you all of the details when I get back to the country in 10 days. Now, 10 days is an eternity in the life of a wire transfer, right? I mean, 10 minutes is an eternity. I'll give you all of the details when I return to the country, when I return to the company in 10 days. Tell no one. So the CFO, being the dutiful CFO that he used to be, picks up the phone. Bank, this is the CFO. I need you to immediately wire $52 million to this bank account in China. Post haste. I'm not sure if he said that, but it sounded good. The bank said, well, okay, whatever, it's your money. And they send the money, all $52 million of it. 10 days go by, 10 long days go by. The CEO returns to the company, returns to the country. Hey, boss, how was the conference? Oh, it was great. It was great. Hey, boss, when do you want to sit down and talk about that, that secret acquisition? What acquisition? A gulp. The acquisition that you told me to wire $52 million to close on 10 days ago? You did what? You're fired. Now, you may think, oh, what a horrible story. It could not have been any worse. Well, you'd be wrong. It gets worse. It always gets worse. The company turns around and they sue their bank. So what happens when you sue? Well, when you sue, everything becomes public. So now the world knows you're an idiot who wired $52 million because you got a couple of emails. The company's position in this litigation was, well, you're a bank, you're a financial institution. You should have known that this was fraud. The bank's position, which I happen to agree with, was you used to be the CFO. You should have known that this was fraud. So in 2019, 4 of the top 10 law firms in Minneapolis retained my firm because they were victims of phishing attacks. And these are sophisticated, smart individuals. And what we saw were a couple of different attacks, but the one that I thought was interesting was an email purportedly from the managing partner, the boss, to the HR director. I need a spreadsheet with all W-2 information for all employees right away. So what does she do? She goes, okay. And she recognizes the name. Yep, that's the boss. Reply. Here's a spreadsheet, attaching a spreadsheet with all W-2 information, send. So the problem is, while she saw the name, she didn't look at the email address that was associated with the name. So instead of sending that valuable information to managing partner at lawfirm.com, she sent it to newly enriched hacker at criminal.com. So the point is, and the takeaway for you today is, before you send anything of value whether that's wire transfer information, maybe you're closing on a new home and the wire instructions get changed at the last minute. Whenever you send anything of value, like wire information or maybe $52 million, pick up the phone. You see, technology has made our lives very convenient. You know, you can make appointments for your vaccination online. You can have video chats with the kids, with the family. But what you need to remember is whenever you gain a benefit, any benefit from technology, you give up an equal amount of security. It's like a scale. Okay. When you gain convenience, you give up some security. And when you gain security, you give up convenience and then no one buys your products. Thank you, BlackBerry. So just keep in mind that you are targets, okay? And you need to be careful. And some ways that you can protect yourself is make sure that you're changing your passwords. Buy a password manager. You know, they're like $3. Okay. If you're victim of one of these attacks, you're going to wish that you had done that. Change your passwords regularly. If you are asked for anything of value, pick up the phone and verify those instructions. If you're closing on a home and there's last minute, hey, don't send your money to this bank account. The seller has a new bank account. Send it to this account. No, 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 no. Pick up the phone. Hey, I got your email. Just want to make sure. If that CFO from that pharmaceutical company had simply picked up the phone and called his boss and said, "Hey, boss, I got your email about that, $52 million. I just want to make sure that I have all of this information straight. That's a big number. I want to make sure I have the commas in the right place. I want to make sure that I have the routing number and the bank account numbers correct." If that CFO had simply picked up the phone, he would be a hero today instead of working at Arby's. And the fact is, they put him on the window without the cash register. I mean, they don't let him touch the money after giving away 52 million bucks. So just be careful. Pick up the phone, verify. Don't trust anything you get in an email. So, I wanted to come in and share this with you. I'm not sure how we are on time. Do we have a few more minutes?
Yes.
Okay. So I thought it would be interesting to show you a cyber attack in real time. 2 summers ago, we got retained by a city in northern Minnesota that was the victim of a cyber attack. Hackers had gotten into their computers and initiated a false wire transfer request to their bank in the amount of $400,000. The city had been compromised for about 5 months and had no idea. So we get retained to conduct the investigation. What you're looking at now, this is the desktop used by the city's finance manager. This is the computer that was hacked into. Now, one thing that I noticed from this wallpaper, I think this was my wallpaper when I was in like 7th grade. This is an old version of Microsoft Windows. So the city was using an outdated operating system. This computer was missing 5 years of free Windows security updates. I guess free wasn't in the city's budget those 5 years. So I thought it would be interesting to show you a cyber attack in real time. In this case, what happened? The hackers had sent this employee an email with a Word document attached to it. This is the email. And when the email arrived, the employee double clicked on the Word document, like you and I would do. The Word document opened. When the Word document opened, it went out to the internet and downloaded malware, bad software. And that allowed the criminals to take control of this computer. So this is as I mentioned, this is the computer used by that city employee. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to open that Word document and I'm going to show you this attack in real time. You're going to see what that finance director saw. You're going to see how quickly a cyber attack can be launched and completed, and how quickly that city was put in a position to lose $400,000. On the count of three, I'm going to open this Word document. 1, 2, 3. An old version of Microsoft Word. That's it. That is how quickly that city became compromised. So this employee saw an error message. This error message. The error message reads, "You are attempting to open a file that was created in an earlier version of Microsoft Office." Attempting is spelled ATTEMTING. Vanna, I'd like to buy a consonant, please. So when things just don't seem right, it's because they are not right. This employee, when she saw this error message, what did she do? She forwarded this critical email to 70 of her coworkers. "Hey, I'm having trouble opening this Word document. Can someone give me a hand?" By doing that, she single-handedly infected over 70 additional computers within the city. So the point is, if something seems weird, get off the network, turn off your computer and get some help. If something is odd, if you get this weird pop up, there's something going on. Look into it a little further. If you get an email saying, "Hey, we're closing on your condo purchase today, different bank account numbers now, send the money to this one." No, you're not going to send it to that one. You're going to pick up the phone and you're going to verify it. So with that, coming into today, I wanted to share with you some helpful, some useful information. I hope I've done that. Do we have any questions?
I have the microphone. Are there any questions? The mayor wants to know how to protect the city of Lakeville.
Yeah, I'll send you the wire instructions later on today.
Yeah. Great example. My name is Doug Anderson. I am the mayor of Lakeville. But aside from that, I'm just curious, is there artificial intelligence work going on to kind of destroy phishing attempts?
Yeah, so the question is there artificial intelligence being deployed to help disrupt these phishing attacks? There are some products out there that are helping, but the fact is, how are you going to stop me from sending you an email? You see, so we gain a benefit. We get great convenience through technology, through the power of email and the internet. But as I mentioned, whenever we gain a benefit, we give up some security. There is no way to stop a good hacker. In the old days, we used to delete the emails because there were 11 grammatical errors asking us for our credit cards. Well, they're smarter now. And we're not seeing the grammatical errors. We're not, they've discovered spell check. Okay, so you just have to be careful. And the best advice that I can give all of you is don't trust anything that you get via email. You know, sure, it's great saying, hey, let's close on the condo sale today. Call me with the bank account information. That's how you do it. You know, you have to balance the benefit of technology with the risk. You know, is there a risk of installing a Nest thermostat at my cabin? You know, technically, yes, but what's the worst that's going to happen? What, some guy turns on my heat? You know, so what? But I do want you to think about this. Some of you may have really cool TV sets, right? And these TV sets, you can stream Netflix, right? You buy it and you plug it into the internet so that you can watch Netflix. But these TV sets that you've just connected to the internet have cameras and microphones, and you're installing them in your conference rooms, in your living rooms, in your bedrooms. And this is an internet connection to a camera, to a microphone that we are voluntarily installing into these locations. Okay, so before you buy technology, before you decide to say, you know, I'm going to get that Alexa, just keep in mind every benefit is offset by a risk. And if you're willing to accept the risk, great, enjoy the technology, enjoy the benefits, but it's not without, not without a downside.
Pastor Paul has a question, and then a final question from Jim.
The good news, I never checked my email, so I don't have to worry about that. But we all know that. So I'm not gonna get fished, but I do check my Facebook Messenger on occasion and some of those other social media messages. So how apt am I to get hacked if I click on something on Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger or Telegram or one of these other things?
Yeah, I had a hard part hearing the first part of that question, but if I heard you correctly, if you're on social media and you're getting these messages or there are links and you're clicking on them, is there a risk? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, there's absolutely a risk. You know, I mean, that's how this happens. You know, if I put up a social media site saying, hey, vaccines for everyone, you know, just click here. Oh, and this link is really, really safe. You can trust it. You know, and what's happening is, you know, this is how elder abuse is being committed, financial elder abuse, because you'll have an older person who maybe lives alone, might be a little scared, not truly familiar with technology, seeing this and say, oh, here's a link. Oh, goody, I can get the vaccine. And they even said that it's really, really safe. So I guess I'm okay. Click. So don't click. You know, if there is something on a website that you think you want, if it's a reputable website, you know, have at it. But when you buy online, you still have risk. So again, you know, not to go old school, but pick up the phone. You know, if a place doesn't have a phone number, maybe you should find a different vendor.
Thank you. I have a question for Mark.
Can you hear this okay?
Yep, I can hear you. Thanks.
Great. Thank you for presenting. Very interesting and also frightening. My question is, new vehicles, you buy a vehicle, they got a lot more technology than 20-year-old ones for sure. And they sync up your phone into the automobile, into that. Give me a sense of the risk of having all your contacts and everything on in inside of your vehicle?
Yeah. So the question is, what about when you're synchronizing information with cars? My firm, we're the crime lab for 38 law enforcement agencies in Minnesota. And I'll tell you what I love. I love when we're involved in a criminal investigation that involved a rental car. And let's say they rob a bank using a stolen rental car, and then they ditch the car. Well, these geniuses, they synchronize their phone with the car so that they can use Bluetooth to talk to their colleagues. Hey, is this the right bank? Is this the bank we're gonna rob? Okay, where do you want me to park the getaway car? They rob the bank, they take off, they ditch the car, and their entire call records are synchronized in the stolen car. I've had 3 of these cases in the past 4 years. So one thing that I recommend is, if you're going to travel someday, and you rent a car and you sync your phone with the car, make sure that you're going in and you're deleting your device and you're deleting your contacts and information from that phone or from that car. Good question.
I think we had all agreed that, as Jim alluded to, it's kind of like watching a scary movie like The Sixth Sense. It's both entertaining, your presentation, and terrifying. And to know that there is a camera in the bedroom, that's a little interesting too. So thank you again for your presentation. We hope to have you back. Or if you have any questions, anyone, you can email them. We hope this is his actual email address. Contact information is on there as well, and love to have you back in the future. Maybe you can tell us the story about the guitars on the wall. We will be giving an honorarium in your name to an organization in Twin Cities that helps at-risk teenagers called Treehouse. So thank you so much, and that was really eye-opening. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
And now we have Colleen Ratzlaff-Lebeau with Master at Arms.
Good morning, all. We need to do something a little different here to make sure everyone online is included. And as you know, when I'm fine master, for the 10 that are not showing their faces, or maybe 11 now, 10 still, you have to pay $1. So Carl and Roger and Shannon, thanks, but you still got to pay one. Stay online, we want to see you. Very quickly to the speaker today. When we were in Arizona last month, my husband got an email from Amazon saying how he's been hacked and he's got to go to the store and get these gift cards and blah, blah, blah. I wasn't paying attention because it was pretty frustrating. All my fault because I order on my iPhone, which I've never done to Amazon, which he decided I had done, created this. 5 hours later, after he put new passcodes in and spoke with Amazon, et cetera, he was notified that that was spam. So he had to apologize for accusing me of creating this mess that I didn't create. But ironically, talking to some people in the neighborhood, 5 or 6 of them people that went to the store got the Amazon cards and paid the bill. So that was a scam that was kind of going rampant. And Chris Casey left, so I'm not able to give him a little fine that he was supposed to, but there's 2 people here. One is Mayor Anderson, is the collector, but I was asked that I would please ask you to pay $1 because I wasn't here 2 weeks ago, but apparently you got up and made sure all the people online started to come here. And then last week you were online. They just kind of thought that contradicted what you had said. So they asked if you please have you put $1 in. Thank you. And Pastor Paul, I was following you this morning. I was following the license that says I pray, and I'm glad he was praying because pretty soon I saw this big tire track go up into the lawn of the townhouses, not far, but definitely over the curb. I figured he was on his Facebook instant message checking, but he said it was a shoot. Is Rachel on still? Rachel, no. She was a sign up, but she wasn't able to show up for the blood drive, so I was gonna find her. And today I'm not doing a pin check, but we were all privileged to be getting Rotarians, People of Action masks, and I see Pastor Paul has his. Is it the truth? If you've worn this in the last week, when you've been out, you don't have to pay $1. Otherwise, you have to pay $1. What a great way to show Rotary. And I have had 3 people comment on it so far when I've had it. 2 were kids telling about stories that Rotarians did for them. One was a speaker, student of the month, and one had been, got to go out from, kind of like Josh Marzon did. So kind of cool. And one last thing, can you see that we need some pool of money built up? We've had 2 things in the last week. One was the chamber event. And again, congrats, Beth. And we had Karen Wentworth as a volunteer of the year. And we also had the blood drive. So if you volunteered at the blood drive, gave blood, or watched the chamber event, you do not have to pay $1. Yeah. The other thing is, for those of you who are online, we appreciate you being here in the meeting. It was brought to my attention, we want to make sure that we're able to continue to collect the $2 per meeting that you normally pay when you come in, because that is Paul Harris matching funds. So periodically, please remember if you can fund that. Kathy probably gets Venmo sometimes from people, or PayPal. We appreciate that. And now we are going to do February. What's this? Trivia of February. And Kathy would like you to come up front, whoever has the answer on your table, so the online can see as well. I'm going to start out with Marshall Cook. You have a row of Marshall, Greg, Tom, and Clint. True or false? At one time, February was the last month of the year.
False.
You rolling with Marshall's answer? It is true. There were 2 months added to the end of the year, and then those got put to the beginning, and that's how February became about. All right, this table here. What is the meaning of the word? I'm sorry. What language does February get its language from? You got to come up here and tell the answer.